Really, they don't happen. Let me tell you, give you an instance. One major reason why I left is the frustration I had. After healing and deliverance service, we have more people that need healing than people that came for healing. I don't know whether you got me. After the healing service, you see people still want to see daddy for prayer. People,
I need to drink water.
Please drink water. People frustrated. You could see frustration. And as a pastor, because when daddy has gone, the wahala now is left for us because they have to meet us. Oh, pastor, please, I need to see daddy. I brought this person. I brought that person. And people, I'm like, whoa, where do I start from? Like, you could see pain.
So what you're saying is that the real sick people that were brought for healing do not receive healing, but then strangers receive healing. Is that what you're saying?
Now, you see, let me tell you something. When you're on the stage, it's different from reality. When you are in a crowded atmosphere, charged with, disco light and bam, 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 or the music is slow, your emotion is being tapped into. It's different ball game when the lights are off and you have to face reality. Now, most time when people, there's what I call environmental influence. For instance, if you are where Burna Boy or Davido or Michael Jackson is doing event and maybe you had malaria or maybe headache, you could be carried away with the dance. You won't even remember you had headache. It is after the whole thing when everybody make with the go house now. Like, what? This thing, they disturb me.
It's back.
That is when reality comes. Or maybe you are in a stadium and they say, a tiger is here. If you're not careful, a cripple will jump the fence. A cripple will jump a fence.
That is true.
A tiger is here, a lion is here. People will do the unthinkable. Now, that is what I call the environmental effect. So when pastors or maybe Dr. Paul is doing all of that, you see that emotion. So pastor, it is after the lights are off. Now, the same person now is, okay, walk now. Say, that's my stick I brought. Can I have it back? I have seen. Now, as a pastor, and with due respect to him, because I don't know, there's a case I don't know whether it's even him that is suing me. So, but I will say it. Maybe by Tuesday, maybe you guys will not see me again, but no problem. Let me say.
We'll be here to speak for you.
I have been there for this, like the 5th time. DSS, FCID. I've been to prison. And this guy has not left me alone. I don't know why. But this one now, and I'm out for him. It's either he leave me alone or I leave him alone. Someone has to leave the other person. So what am I trying to say? So when you see stuff like that, at the end of the service, I remember one particular one, he or she came with an inhaler. And say, the asthma is gone. The asthma is gone. And after the service, it's choking. And and if you watch sometimes it's okay, take it as your souvenir. Or take it so that you show people, because you know that this thing is not real. I remember my son had they claim my son had a medical issue, and that's why the major victims are women. Major victims.
Because women are emotional,
very emotional, and especially when you have this kind of woman that is very things that I can talk. And the women, they love daddy kind of thing. Daddy. So sometimes also people want, the way they have placed daddy, people want daddy to pray for them. So they can claim what has not happened just because they think that if I claim it and daddy will say, give that person out, bring that testimony out. So they will think that daddy will use that opportunity to pray for them.
Okay, so they have not received the testimony.
They have not received the testimony.
But they are trying to claim it by testifying.
You got that gist. So someone can say, I came here. All they want is so that daddy, because to them, daddy has some power. And if I remain, because daddy wouldn't want you to come testify when you are not healed. So you have to claim you are healed so that daddy can lay his hand and use you, and camera will capture you for the whole world to see, and you are trending. You are trending. I remember there was a video that was posted by a man that claimed to be a soldier. I think we criticized that video and they pulled it down, and I'm still challenging them if they can still bring forth that video. The man claimed that they shot him and he didn't enter, and later it was find out that it was cigar light he used to even Dr. Paul and himself felt scammed. No, I'm not joking. He felt scammed. Like I remember they were giving the guy accommodation. They were, let me tell you. Can I shock you now? There was this guy.
Cigar light.
You don't understand. People, they hustle. Guys are hustling. I remember this guy. Then we had the real one. This guy was a scammer. But things were falling apart for him, and he needed the platform to resurface to survive. So he came to testify. You see, in the dream of the night, the face of daddy appeared, and I am a changed person. And you see, emotions, when it happened like that, everyone like, ooh, and this person have no place to go again. It's only me and God now. So church will say, daddy will say, you make sure this guy has accommodation. Make sure you take care of this guy. And I remember this guy pretended like that. Nothing happened. He started dating because I was in charge of production and marketing, I was supervising them. One of the young lady that was in charge of Seeds of Destiny, this guy started dating this girl.
Oh, you people even have marketing department.
We sell product. The messages is preaches, and they are not free. You pay for them. So the girl that was in charge of Seeds of Destiny now this guy started dating this girl, because the guy noticed that is where the money lies. So before you know, this girl will be giving this guy money, 100, 200, 300,000. That was how this guy left. Oh, when this guy left, it shocked Dr. Paul. Because people, and that's one thing I tell people, when you build, I have great respect for him. But you see, whatever you are building will be tried, will be subjected.
That is,
and that's what we are doing. I don't have any personal issue. My major crack started when pastors started having, other pastors felt I was too close to him because I was really close. I could go to his house. Studio now. I can enter his house and he can be preaching and he will be calling me Abraham. So other pastors like, you just came, you are not too old here.
Why give you preferential treatment?
And that's why when people say you were frustrated, I laugh. If I wanted anything, and I'm saying this authoritatively, if I wanted anything, they give me. So it's not all about frustration. If I wanted, all I need to say, Daddy or Mommy, I need money. The family responsibility is high. I need money. They may not give pastors. Other pastors, they'll give to me.
But when you were a pastor, before your transfer to Caro branch, were you being paid salary?
Yes. We were paid salary.
Monthly
salary. Yeah, we pay monthly salary. But you know how that works? The monthly salary, if you're not careful, at the end of the month, you have more months than more money. At the end of the month, you have more months than more money.
How much were you being paid then?
I think if I'm not, it's classified by averagely. There was a time you have to literally protest for a review, but I think at one point it was around 70,000 monthly.
As a family man.
What are you telling me? As a family man, and other people were still paying less.
And out of this 70,000, you still need to pay tithe.
You pay tithe. At one point, I think there was a threat to even take it from source.
Do you think that because of this low income of the junior pastors, the low salary, do you think that they oftentimes try to make money by either stealing from the offering, tithe, or going behind his back to extort money from other members?
Absolutely. I knew pastors, I knew folks that had to. I remember one time one of my friends called me and he said, there's a new formula. I'm like, what formula? He's my colleague, pastor.
Yeah.
He said, you do know that this other pastor, he pays his tithe directly to Dr. Paul? I said, directly? We as pastors, you pay your tithe, drop it in the offering, indicate tithe, and it's separated. He said, no, this pastor takes his tithe and on it he wrote scriptures that validate it. Pay your tithe to the priest. So he pays his tithe to Dr. Paul directly. So number one, Dr. Paul prays for him directly. What he does now is compel all his staff to pay tithe to him. Yeah, because if I'm paying to the priest, I'm the priest.
This is strategy.
Yeah, all his staff, you have to pay tithe to me because I pay to him. From what you pay to me, I pay to him. So when he told me that, say, that's a new one now. So
this person you're talking about is a pastor.
He's a pastor.
So he pays his tithe
directly to Dr.
Paul, and then he tells those who are under him,
to pay to him.
To pay to him
because he pays to Dr. Paul.
And these are pastors under Enenche.
Yes,
in Dunamis.
Because we have location pastors. As in location pastors, you have staff. Maybe you have accountant. You have other staff under you. You can even have if you're like a regional pastor, you have other junior pastors under you. So they pay tithe to you. Because you have compelled them. And this guy, he said, if somebody bring money now and see me, maybe I'm in the office and say, Pastor, Daddy, this is my tithe. So, but that money, they go offering again on my own. So when I heard that, like, wow, this is not a policy that we practice, but this is a way people want to survive. Recently, I wrote about a pastor that, I remember 2 years ago or so, one of their land, the pastor formed as an agent. Because do you know most pastors can't pay even basic school fees for their children? I'm not joking. Pastors there. And I dare him. And one time when some pastors were I feel for them. I was in the system, I feel for them.
Because there is money, but yet they are very poor. The only person that is getting enriched
is GO.
Is the GO.
Is GO. One day, I used my car to do both. So one day I was in your estate. That was when I was in the estate. And I was driving and I saw one of my colleagues. Then they had their convention. They was tricking. And I was like, wow. On suit under the sun. Tricking. I remember when I left and I said, okay, what will now make me envy this young man now? He didn't see me, but I saw him.
Do you think that this is the reason why most pastors often refuse to perpetually submit to a bigger man of God? They run off to start their own ministry.
Absolutely, it's business. And if I can do it on my own and make more money, why not? There's this young man. You see, and one time I told them, the problem you have with Dr. Paul is not anything but sharing formula. Because you left him and you are preaching the same thing. So why were you not there? Why didn't you remain there? I remember one of these guy, and he's in Enugu. He was pastoring in Enugu, and the next thing he wanted to leave, and I knew him because this guy he lost money, and he even got indulged with one of these scam stuff where they give people money. They were coming after them, and EFCC, I think one time, or police invited him due to the money thing. And you ask yourself, okay, you are here and you left. And now you are not preaching a different message. Like maybe you are talking like the pattern of Ebel Damina. You are talking the same thing. Your topic, your team, almost the same. So why were you not there? Sharing formula.
Now that you've made mention of Ebel Damina,
yes.
I want you to tell me, since you've been a pastor under Enenche, and I'm sure you must have met Ebel Damina.
Yes, I have.
Tell us, what exactly do you think is the problem between Enenche and Damina?
Let me drink water.
Tell us. We want to know.
You know. I tell people, at least I know both characters, but I'm deeper more with Paul Enenche because I have served him.
Yeah.
Now, to be honest with you, whatever Abel said in terms of
it is too hot. I need to be drinking water.
To be honest with you, I've met Dr. Abel. I heard his side of the story. I met him at Ibano Hotel, and he was sharing with me. Of course, his impact. Even then, Dr. Paul Enenche have not disclaimed, but he was telling me, this is what. And as a pastor, when you are there, you know how your GEO started, even though he may not say it openly.
Yeah.
And of course, it was very clear that Abel played a major role for the kickoff of the church. And one time, while Dr. Paul Enenche, the problem with Dr. Paul Enenche, for him or to him, he has arrived so massive that to accept Abel as someone that brought him from that level to where he is like you are belittling him. It's just like you're a big man now, and your father has one leg, and you have friends around. And
this was why he adopted Bishop Oyedepo.
Yeah, he has to be.
He needed someone above him, not below. Not supposedly.
Because Abel Damina is a big guy.
Yes, of course.
Abel is not a loud monetary guy. He's a big guy.
He is. We know him.
I know him. At one point, he was even trying to know his investments. So I know him. But he's not loud.
Yeah.
Redibo is loud. Redibo is loud. And so Dr. Paul needed that kind of platform. So, and of course, people do things that work for them. Access. You need access. When you said, my father in the Lord is Dr. Paul, David Oyedepo. When you hear that, is it David Oyedepo? The owner of this? Oh, come on. Access. So, for me, that was really obvious that Abel Damina, even at one point some videos were posted, and of course they had to try to debunk. The problem is that your past, you can never rewrite your past. Don't distort it. Just leave it the way it is. If you have a poor father, it doesn't make you, and now you are rich. That is in quote. Abel is not broke or poor, but Abel, his style of message. I remember we have hosted Abel before. And Abel have preached for him, and so for me, for him to say that, I was disappointed. When I heard that thing going up and down, I said, no, sir, you can do better.
Was it disrespect to Abel Damina?
I mean, come on. No matter if your father is broke or your father is short or tall, it's your father. You can't change who your father is. You can't change who your father is. All you need to do is to see how you can improve and do better. If you have the concept of adopting a father, for me, it doesn't work anywhere.
So tell me, when you left, did you leave the church?
Yeah.
And the Christendom because of these frustrations, because you were paid so poorly, because of these staged and fake miracles, or you found out that there is a superior truth to what you once believed in? What exactly? That is the point I want you to talk about.
Okay, like I said, what led me to exit? One time.
Or were you forcefully removed? Were you banished by Paul Enenche, or you left willingly on your own?
Okay. Let me just give you a sharp chronicle on how it climaxed. At one time, the pastor in Makurdi region lost his wife, and all the Dunamis pastors were in a WhatsApp group. So we did not know. And one early morning, my ex-wife woke me up and said, "Did you hear about this news? This woman is late, the wife of this pastor." And I was shocked. Because as a pastor, I should know.
Yeah.
And I quickly went to the WhatsApp group. I said, "Sorry, please, to bring to your notice, I learned this pastor's wife died. What happened? We didn't know." And everybody ignored. When you drop such a sensitive post, you expect people to respond, especially when it is everywhere. And nobody responded. And when I woke up later around 7, I was so angry. I said, "I know you guys will not respond because you have no value for life. But I'm so disappointed at you guys." That's the kind of person I am. Sorry, that's the kind of person I am. I'm so disappointed at you guys, and we demand an apology. So that was when all of them woke up. "So who do you think you are? When did you come?" The likes of Fidelis Alika. "Who do you think you are?" Timothy that has left too. And I said, "I don't care. This pastor is a pastor that his wife died."
Did you say that this was a WhatsApp group for pastors or for market women?
I'm not joking. They insult until they removed me from the WhatsApp group. you don't like to see me when I want to get what I want, and especially when it is right. Abraham doesn't pack off. I may just be the only person. I'm not a crowd person. So I insisted. I said, Pastor Loche was the regional pastor there. Then I said, sir, you must apologize to us. They removed me off the WhatsApp group and brought me back. And he apologized. So I said, well, I apologize to maybe I was high, but I needed to really set the record straight. I may be your junior in terms of when I came in, but when things are not done rightly, this woman served under Dunamis church, and when she died, let's know. I can't see him and say, hi, it's your wife, and like, my wife is little. How does that sound? So now when we had convention, our pastor's wife, we had like a lunch. The pastor's wife were present, the pastors were present. So all of them said I should come and apologize. Now when the issue happened, it was within us, the pastors. But when it happened, when they had convention, then I said I should come and apologize for what I said. Still, I apologized. But I told them I stand by my word that what happened, what we did as pastors is wrong. If a pastor's wife or anything happened, we should know. So, and we have a policy. You don't share your temptation downward. You share your temptation upward. You share testimony downward. That is, if you are going through misfortune, you don't let your members know. You have to let your GO know. No. So it is when you have testimony, you share with your members.
To encourage them.
To encourage them, but it has a whole lot of issue because your GO knows all your secrets already. So when you are trying to live to, you remember the other time you slept. so it makes you to live a fake life too, because you are going through pain and church is not some movie. So that happened. And while I was there, I started rebelling. When I mean rebelling, I couldn't adapt to the system anymore. I was writing. One time I wrote, who was the next of kin of Jesus Christ? Why is it that families are dominating the church of God when it should be the church of God? I started writing that, and one day I got an hint that they are trying to report me to Dr. Paul and Enche. Because Dr. Paul loves me. He talks about me with them. So, and I have the result. So one day we had international pastors meeting, and then social media was becoming a vibe. So Dr. Paul was teaching. Before then, I had sent him a text. I want to see him. So he said, we'll see on Tuesday. But we couldn't see on Tuesday. We couldn't see on Wednesday, midweek service. So on Thursday was the pastor's meeting. So while he was preaching, he said, hey, Abraham, you said you'll see me here. We'll see after the meeting. So while he was teaching, to us in between, as he was running off, he now said, we need to have a social media platform where what we are doing as a church will be going out. Content can be produced and people can talk about it. People can connect to dominate the social space. And he mentioned Pastor Pennell. He mentioned one other, or either his PA, and he said, Abraham, you'll be the chief strategist. And the next thing, the pastor said, no. That it was a chorus. When I know they do, you know, they agree. What I'm saying, you can verify. Say, no. Abraham, do not support what you are doing. Abraham doesn't even believe in what you are doing. That Abraham support Buhari. Now, like, why did I say I support Buhari? Dr. Paul loves, he had linked with Goodluck Jonathan.
Yes.
Then election was coming. Goodluck Jonathan was contesting with Buhari. Now, I don't do politics, but I analyze situations. Now, in our pastor's WhatsApp, when they'll be insulting Buhari, talking and exhorting Goodluck Jonathan. As of that time, if you remember, corruption was at its peak. The Boko Haram killing, bomb blast, even in FCT, we're having that, nyanya, and all of that. So I told them, drop everything on the table like a card. See what is happening. It is not possible for Goodluck Jonathan to win. We love Goodluck Jonathan, but let's face reality. It is not all about going from church to church. If he's not strategic enough and deal with these issues, the North will not vote for him. So I was playing. So to them, they thought I am for Buhari. Now, so in that meeting, they said, no, Abraham does not support what you do. Abraham support Buhari. And Dr. Paul Enenche doesn't support Buhari. He doesn't even like Buhari. So, as if ground should open. I was trying to explain, they brought on my post. They printed them, colored. I'm not joking, colored. They brought them, they said, see. Here I wrote, who is the next of king of Jesus Christ, while at church, family team getting involved. They were showing him. So he collected. His wife collected. So I will run to this to explain myself. I said, sir,
it was a carefully orchestrated.
I am not joking. That day, as if ground should open for me, I explained. He just sat down. He said, well, break, everybody should go. He's not going to, he cannot teach. So we left. I went up to his office. He said, he can't see me. I went to see his PA. I want to see him. He can't see me. They quickly set up a panel to talk to me. They called me. They brought out the post. Said, why did you do this? I said, as a pastor, I have my view. I have a group, WhatsApp, I have a social media space. A page, Facebook page for the church. This is my view, my personal view. In contrast with what Jesus laid. Jesus Christ was the head of the church. He had siblings. He never transferred to them. They had to earn it, whatever we saw on their account. But you now, family members are being repositioned, and we are seeing how they are taking over the church of God, not family business. So why shouldn't I be bothered? So it's my view. It's not Dunamis' view. It didn't work. So what happened? Dr. Paul now left a message that I should resume at the headquarters immediately. because of that. So I told my wife, and I resumed at the headquarters. Now, when I resumed at the headquarters, I was trying to know what happened. He refused to see me. He refused to see me. So
that relationship has been messed up by your fellow pastors.
I'm not, it's like crap. Everyone want to pull you down to God. That's what they do. They'll pull you down. So if your head, match. So when that happened, I tried to see him. No. So you know what pained me most? The pastor that I spoke for, that lost his wife, that was not brought to our WhatsApp group. The same pastor was posted to my location, where they pulled me out from. And in most of our operation, if you lose your wife like that, you are not posted to a location, because you need to recover, and it is best when you are posted as husband and wife to a location. Now, they posted someone I spoke for. So they are trying to get back at me. It was not God, or maybe being led by God to post it. So I brought the matter up. I said, I wrote a lengthy to all the guys. I said, what you guys have done showed that you guys don't even know God. I spoke for this guy, and you felt I should apologize. I apologize to you guys. And you still had me in mind, to the point that you work out my redeployment. I accepted. The next thing is to post the same pastor I spoke for. Like, you jam two heads together. That's what they did. So when I saw that, I noticed I was struggling, because I'll come to church. I couldn't fit in anymore. Dr. Paul was having issue. They see me like a betrayed rebel. This guy is selling me out, because his phones, the wife, Deborah, all of them. Well, I mean, all the children, the junior, for Daniel, all. I go to the house. I have entered for Daniel's room. So I'm some betrayer. But to be honest, I've never betrayed him one day. I could access anything. I could have his laptop. Sometimes they sleep in my house. I never one day, because it's not important to me. So when I saw all of that, I noticed I don't fit in anymore. The passion for Jesus was stronger than the church thing. So I needed to exit. It was even my daughter, my children, that drafted my resignation letter. Because I carried my family along. So they drafted my resignation letter.
I feel like crying.
You won't understand. They drafted my resignation letter. The day I was to submit my resignation letter, I went to see him. The way he received me, I said no. He was too, he would break down. Yeah. So I went back with it. Because I went there with my wife to thank him for all the services and to drop my resignation letter. But I couldn't. So I went back with it. Another day again, I returned. He was not in the office. I gave it to the admin, assistant admin, and he signed. That was how I resigned. When he called me, he said, no, that my resignation can make somebody run mad. I said, I understand, but I need to go. Because I couldn't fit in
any longer.
My passion for church is no more the regular church. I wanted something more. I'm that kind of person. I always want more. Status quo. So the Jesus thing was driving me. While I was in Dunamis church, I was listening to, if you know Joseph Prince, Joseph Prince that talks on grace. If you know My Smuro, I was so I was so addicted to My Smuro and Sunday Adelaja. Do you know I produced for Dr. Paul and the wife? So anytime I want to give them my laptop, I will hide
some of those things.
Because the wife asked me, are you sure you don't listen to Joseph Prince?
Sunday Adelaja was the first enemy, biggest enemy of the Pentecostal pastors.
They thought Sunday Adelaja was sponsoring me. Yeah, they thought that, are you sure? I said, no. People think, and that's the problem I have with people. Instead of you to face reality, you live by some illusion. Instead of something is going bad, instead of you say, no, somebody is using you. Nobody is using. Face reality. And let me tell you something. Some years ago, as a pastor, there's this pastor Ayo that left Dunamis. Was the first pastor that Dr. Paul raised and posted out. So he left. He said he's not doing anymore. He resigned and left. Started a work in Kogi State. And it was during Christmas. And as an ICT person and producer, he called me. He said, Abraham, can you come and set up my ICT for me? I said, okay. And it was holiday. It was my off time, so I was free. I used public transport. I went to Kogi. And we had Dunamis Church Kogi, Lokoja. So I said, well, let me branch and say hi to them. I branched to greet them. I saw my friend, the assistant pastor. I saw the main pastor. Oh, why are you in Lokoja? I said, I just came to see you guys. And I called the assistant pastor, please, I want to see Pastor Ayo. I need to do something for him. Can you direct me to his church? They directed me. Do you know, as I was doing the work, setting up and guiding them on what to do, equipment they should buy, do you know that they called Dr. Paul Enenche and told him that I was in Lokoja? Dr. Paul Enenche called the admin, Ochoga Emmanuel. Ochoga Emmanuel is in UK, so his name I'm calling. He called Ochoga, that where is Abraham? Ochoga called me, said, Abraham, where you dey? I said, I'm in Lokoja. I'm trying to fix some things for Ayo. He said, return immediately. I returned. So I told Ayo, I started showing Ayo body language. I couldn't tell him
what was happening.
Because Ayo was your son, Ayo left, and
it is the same work of God.
Yeah, the same work of God. So for me, innocently, I go help him. And of course, I will make some money too, because I set up equipment, you pay me for workmanship. So Ayo was trying to call me, I just ignore his call. Ayo is late now. Now, when that happened, he did that. Do you know? I'm telling you, and he will watch this, because I know his church member will send it to him. Do you know he kept malice with me for more than 3 months? As a producer.
You mean Dr. Paul Enenche?
I'm not joking.
Malice, because you
I went to help Ayo. Let me tell you what happened. When that happened, we'll have HOD meetings in his office because then we are still at area 1 upstairs, like the 10th floor. So we got there and everybody seated. I was seated. Well, head of department too. And like, Abraham, are you sure you are meant to be here? We were like, Abraham, who go there? Because I record the event. So it's not like your guy now. You not tell him, are you sure you're supposed to be here? So how do we record? So like, I stood up, I left. So that happened until one day he called me to his office. And one thing about me, if you don't send me, I don't send you. I'm doing my job, and if you don't send me,
if you say we get problem, tell me say we get problem. We'll go sort them out.
So he called me, and one thing about me is he knows me for both. He called me and I said, Brad, you know you're my son? I said, yes. You know I love you? I said, yes. But you know what you did is wrong? I said, oh, sorry. He said something I will never forget in my life. He said, the enemy of your father is your enemy. That thing sank. So Ayo was meant to be my enemy because
he's the enemy of
his assumed enemy.
And what did he do that he was assumed enemy?
Nothing, just because do you know, sir, as I am no more a pastor of Dunamis, it will be a taboo for any of Dunamis pastors to be seen around me. I remember when Philip Abba left. There's a Philip Abba. Philip Abba was like his deputy. The hard issue left. For if as a pastor I would need to see Philip Abba, I have to hide like a thief.
Go and see him.
Because the guy was so good to everybody. I served under him before I became, I moved to headquarters. But I can't see him publicly. I won't let anybody know that I saw him. Members will even call him. They don't have his numbers. I don't know how they do that. So the church thing for me at that point, no, I don't fit in here. So when I left, I started what I call Kingdom Culture Bible Church, still in New Carroll. So I did a vision presentation, and it was on Saturday. Just let people know why I left and all of that. In the evening, this I'm saying I may not have because voice call, but if he can look me into eye and said I'm lying, let's posterity judge. He called me. I said, Abraham, I heard you are starting to work in New Carroll. Are you okay? Is something wrong with you? I said, sir, but I've left you. He said, but you didn't tell me that you're setting up a church. And of a truth, I didn't tell him. Because if I tell him I'm going to start a work, it will be hell. So I told him, well,
especially in New Carroll, where you built some members for him.
So to him, that's my territory. And so for me, I need to work within where I know. My house is there. Where will I'm in New Carroll. I don't have money to go rent somewhere else. And so the insult was heavy. I dropped the call. So I started thinking, how will this man that have these big, massive branches is still bothered about petty things? Petty things. One day, let me shock you. I wore his shoe to his office. His desk is very high. So if somebody is coming, I wore his shoe to his office. He saw the shoe I wore. I said, Abraham, that's my kind of shoe. I said, this shoe? You know, in area 1, then if you are going to the church, all these house men used to sell shoe. I said, that's where I bought that shoe from. He said, no, it's my kind of shoe. I stopped wearing that shoe. Yeah, because I saw my shoe. It's not like you saw one of your. That's my kind of, I stopped wearing because I never wanted something that. So for me, I had to leave that cycle. And when I left, the internal journey continued.
So he was the reason why you could not continue with the church.
The scenario of that Buhari, where they said, I saw Buhari and brought out my post.
No, I'm even talking about the church you started.
Yes, I had to stop. And you know, bro, my talk no they finish. They started using my ex-wife. Oh, my brother. You see, if the day you get involved in church politics, don't ever get yourself involved. I can call, I am not playing. I can call outside my 5 fingers, pastors that have left. I'm not alleging that he's the one, but pastors that have left, that have died. Ayo, I remember Philip Abba, Patrick Ubeku. I remember Chris. I remember, it's because I didn't chronicle them.
All these pastors have died.
This is how the system works. When you leave, they need you to be struggling, to validate that you left a cover.
You've now been cursed. You know, I read a comment on one of your videos.
Beautiful.
Someday, and this comment came from a member of Dunamis. He made something. He said something. He said, it's a woman actually. She said that you should go and check your life now. And check your life when you were with Dunamis.
So what they do is that they have to bring you to that point where you are broke, you are struggling, and they will not tell their pastors, you see. Our pastors may have said that. This one I heard from him. They say, this guy left, he's struggling. You see, things are not working for him because he left the cover. And what they do, vulnerable wives. I remember one pastor, the wife came to ask for house rent. And what they do, they will tell you to come and see them after service. After service is when the church have closed, and all of us will be walking, we'll see her, see a woman seated like, so, madam, she'll greet. Why are you here? Oh, I want to see daddy. I want to see daddy. So she will eventually see daddy. And later, you saw how, do you see that pastor's wife? She came to beg money. Hey! I'm not joking.
Money for food.
For food. So you now, oh boy, I don't go anywhere. Now here I die. Because the message will be like, if you leave, you will suffer the same thing. And that is why court is an understatement. When it comes to some of these Pentecostal pastors. When I left, my ex-wife became her. We'll attend meetings. She will go and sit at the back.
She doesn't want to identify with you.
She said I must return back.
She doesn't want to inherit your course.
He said that course. She made my children to have the same mindset that I must return back to Dunamis. To the extent that I was tempted, I had to call them. I had to make an attempt to even come back. That was around the same 2019, early part of 2019. I had to even come back here. It's okay. You want me to come back for there to be peace? Okay, I'll return back. Pastors were caught. My ex, because that's what they do. They'll crack into your family. And there can't be peace. If a woman tells you, if woman say, no, get peace for your house, and she's your wife, especially some of us that grew up in a very humble home, that have respect for people. We are not, I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't, see now, even though I my dread and all, these are all costumes. I have, there's a hashtag I have for anti-profiling. I hate when people profile people. So do you know, one day, my ex-wife said, I now called him. I said, sir, I want to see you. He said, okay. He's doing prayer now. That after the prayer, it was like this January kind of prayer. So we met, and I told him, okay, I want to come back. He said, okay, that's good. And that everything you said about the church, I need to go out and say it. That why will I talk right about the church? Am I bigger than Adeboye? Am I? You see that mindset that some people have the key, the access code, the password. So they have that mindset. So how can somebody like me be talking about church reform? When the bigger guys are not talking about it. So who are you? You talk about church reform. Who are you? Is there? Do you have evidence? What they call evidence is a car, the big auditorium. They don't understand that intellectualism.
Sometimes they do understand, but they just don't want to accept it.
Yeah, because they don't have capacity to ride on that. And so when
they've walked so deep into the dark that finding the light becomes impossible.
It's not child's play. When that happened, and I said, okay. Then I said, okay, you see, they won't place me. I won't return as a pastor, but then I started giving me their gadget again. So I would just go sit, help. So anytime they are preaching, I'll be pressing my phone. Because my mind has left. Anytime they are preaching, I'll just be chatting, writing online. Still be looking for trouble online. I don't know whether you understand me. I'm still invalidating what he's saying online. So one day, I told him, okay, I'm doing your job for you. I moved to Lugbe. I was in Lugbe Federal, a new site. I said, okay, I don't have anything. Now my children change school. Can you, the money you are paying me in bulk, so that I can fix a school for my children, and I can get a car for myself, so that I used to do Uber, because the car I had was not verified by Uber. And they said they can't buy a car for me, but they gave me, I think, 200,000. So I had to get a car on hire purchase, and I was paying small, and I was doing their job. Until one day, I told my ex-wife, I am tired. I know they do again. I know if it means divorce, no problem. And it led to divorce.
I can imagine the insult.
See, you see, you've not heard anything. If I tell you things, you can't sit where you are seated. If you understand empathy about life, you can't. One night they took me to prison. And
for what? Took you to prison for what?
In 2019, you know Nairaland? Yeah. You know Nairaland. In Nairaland, somebody pasted my picture and said that this pastor was sacked from Dunamis Church, and he resorts to talking about pastors, Paul and Nenchi, and insulting pastors and calling churches names. So somebody drew my attention. See what they are. And you know Nairaland, when people be insulting you, it's a team, we'll deal with it. So when I saw that,
Nairaland is full of cyber terrorists.
So when I saw that, I'm like, who are these guys? So I now copied the link. I took it to my Facebook. I said, this is it. I resigned from Dunamis. I was not sacked. But due to this threat, if anything happened to me, Dr. Cole or Dunamis Church or my family should be held responsible. So that was what they had on. Now, when it happened, their lawyer was pretending, and the police were pretending to sympathize with me, because as of that time, my ex-wife was already leaving. I was struggling to keep my family together. So they were calling, oh, how you doing? We learned you were a pastor before, but you are doing both. Oh, how you feeling your family? Do you know, at one point, I was living in my car. So because my ex-wife was a trouble, so in any hotel, small hotel, I can pay 2,000. I'll just stay there, and in the morning, wash my car, I enter the road. So then I said, the guy said, can I see you? I have a little token for you. I said, well, I am hustling, and I basically I can survive. So I don't really need. He said, no, I want to help you. So he kept calling. You know how boat is. I can get requests in a different direction. So one day I was around taking somebody to the train station. I said, okay, that's where I am. So while I was on call, I look up. There was a speed bumps. One he lost, mad brake. I hit her. The front of my car, windscreen, engine, Corolla, 04, damaged. So I told them, see, people have made me to have accident. I'm here. Come and meet me. They came. It was around 8 already. They helped me. The car couldn't be pushed. We had to literally tow it to the Chief Palace house. We were begging the man of the healers. The man insisted. I begged. Spend more than 2 hours. You know how it is when you use somebody's car and you know you don't have money. So when I finished begging, The man said, okay. But the following day, which was Saturday, I must stay with his parabita and his driver to fix the car, his Hilux. My own, I was not talking about my own. So I was to leave. I bought suya for them even. I didn't know they were policemen. I bought suya to thank them. Oh, thank you for helping me. And they said, how are you going to go? I said, they should drop me now. In Lube, they will drop me at Airport Junction and I will take to Lube. I said, okay, thank you. So they were to enter the car. Nobody sat at the front. I said, no, he said, no, they don't like sitting at the front. They put me at the middle. And I was already tired. The impact of the accident, I hit my head on my steering. So they were driving the speed. I said, waiting now. You're just talking, looking serious. On my mind, are they kidnappers? What is happening? So when we got to that Airport Junction, instead of turning to Lube, these guys were going towards Gaines Village. I said, what is happening now? He said, no. Do I know Dr. Paul Enenche? I said, that was when even my mind came down. I thought they were kidnappers. As they said Dr. Paul, I said, hey, at least
someone that knows you.
Yes. I said, yes. So what did I write about him? I said, what did I write? That was when they took me that night to New Caro site police station. They said I should write a statement. I said, no, you saw the accident I had. If you have conscience, you'd have taken me to the hospital. You are asking me to write a statement. They said if I don't write, they'll lock me in the cell. I slept in the cell. I was in pain. I slept in the cell Friday night, Saturday. On the DPO invited me. I explained, the man laughed. Say all these pastors that they just want you back. That's why they are. That what you wrote or what they are alleging that you wrote is not a major thing. This man can call you and even talk to you. Somebody I've worked with for 10 years. So he said there's no case here. The DPO said that and all of them. So the DCO also said that. So when their lawyer came on Monday, the lawyer said they are transferring the case. The DPO insisted that they are not moving me from there. They said, so it became a war. The DPO had, because they had no ground to charge me. So the DPO said, no, this is my case. And they said, no. They had to bring, later from either a higher, a higher rank. That was why they now took me to Kubwa Area Command. Can you see the movement? To Kubwa Area Command, where they had soft land.
So they needed a place
that would just be easy.
That they have authority.
Churches, forget them. And that was how when we got there, everything was already prepared. I had no lawyer. Who give me money? I searched online, I saw all this human rights. I thought when you say human rights, it's just straight. They charged me. I had to begin to look for money. That was I went to court the following day, remind. And the information, I said, how? Even when that happened, the next time again, they granted me bail. I was able to look for money, got bail. As of that time, my ex-wife had left. Packed the children, had left. And we were battling divorce case. I was battling Dunamis church case. My mother told me when she heard that, she came, elderly woman, she cried. She said, please, can you go and beg Dr. Paul Enenche or the Becky and the wife, because the wife is my sister. We come from the same place. So can you go and beg her? She should understand that maybe whatever differences can be settled. So I told my mother, no, I know these people. She said, no, I'm your mother, go. So I came. They said, come on Sunday. So after some, everybody will just see me sit down like the normal thing I told you. I just sat down and I went to her office. She called Oguche. Oguche is Dr. Paul Enenche's stepbrother and he's his CSO, like his bodyguard. So he said she can't talk with me alone. The guy should be there. And I said, she said, I heard you had issue with police. I said, ma, how do I have issue with police without somebody petitioning police? Police cannot just see me and arrest me. So I said, you people petition the police. She said, and I said, whatever it is, can we settle this amicably? There's no need. Whatever you wrote, there's no substantial evidence at all. Can we settle out of police or out of court? He said, no, let my fate be determined by the judge. My brother, that day, I look at her. I said, wow.
That was what the wife said.
I'm not joking. Let your fate be determined by the judge. And do you know somehow, the same within a year, our father is my uncle. With great respect to him, he's late. He had issue with the EFCC. They paraded our own father for 20 million Hilux. 20 million.
So, you mean the father of the wife of
Becky and Enche? Yeah. When I saw that news, some people said it to me, say, see, what this woman, look at how she treated and look at how her father has been treated. And I felt bad because her father is a professor and I love him so much. And my uncle, I have great respect for him. But I'm telling you that sometimes when you don't have pity on people, there's a way life deals with you. So from there, I lost my car. From there, FCID. When I came out, bro, let me shock you. When I came out, they now said I connived with their lawyer to dupe them. I'm not sure. See, if you know what I've gone through with these people.
They said you connive with their own lawyer.
This is a guy, I have no money. Their lawyer dealt with me because they used their lawyer. And their lawyer arrested me, dehumanized me. Now you are telling me that Abraham connive with your own lawyer that I couldn't even afford, that they gave him money to make sure he jailed me. And they noticed that this is not working. So they started tracking me again at FCID. So one day, people will be calling me randomly. Abraham, where are you? I said, which kind of wahala be this? This matter, we're not going to believe I make it end. Until there's this man, Stanley, that called me, Emerson, if you know Emerson, the gospel singer.
Yeah.
Emerson. I'm calling them, so these are verifiable. Emerson now called me on Messenger that there's this man that want to intervene. That I used to know Stanley through Dr. Paul, because Stanley comes to the headquarters and I used to give him content on his phone and iPad, even do work for him to send to his wife. So Stanley now spoke with me. We met in the evening with his police and all of that. He said, I will personally take you and we'll see how we can resolve this matter. As of that time, Sahara reporters have taken the news. So Dr. Paul was shaking.
He was pressured.
He doesn't like that public perception. He love it when everybody sing his praise. And now somebody has punctured for the first time in his life. Somebody have taken him to social media, social space. So that the man now called, went to FCID, and they said, "Are you Abraham?" I wrote my statement, and I told them, this is this. I have done this man nothing. I've served him. Ordinarily, I set up your production. In a normal society, I should be having royalty, because the production is generating money every day, every month. And of course, we never enter any contract like that, so no wahala. But let me be. I don't have money. We had my family divorced. Even when he detained me in prison, do you know that this man gave my family 200,000? I told him when my ex-wife, I confronted my ex-wife, and I confronted him. How will you lock a husband that should take care of his family, and you are giving the wife 200? I don't need your money. I have energy, I have power. I can take care of my family. So the FCID now said we should enter undertaking for peace. And I told them, my car, I lost that car because the car was paid on hire purchase. I paid over $1 million plus. And the agreement is that after 2 weeks, if you are not consistent, you lose the car and you lose the money. So, and I was in detention, so I lost the car and the money. The man got angry, carried his car. So I lost. That car should be bought for me so that I can get my life back. They now said I should delete my Facebook account. This Facebook is not, I deleted the Facebook. I know one thing about me, I trust people easily. So when they said delete, I deleted. When I went to his office here, and they said, you see, come the following day, story, that you see, they can't buy me a car, they can give me 200,000. What? Sir, we had a gentleman agreement, and you promised. I said, no problem, I was broke. I collected 200,000. I left. And 2 years ago again, the petition DSS, the one at Asokoro. One day I was driving, I got a car on weekly remittance. I was driving. Somebody called me, "Are you Abraham? Tomorrow, report at DSS." My mind jumped. Because,
For what again?
If I went there, Dr. Paul wrote a lengthy, the introduction, the pastor of the largest church in the world. And you know what DSS they call it interview. They don't call it interrogation. So the way we sat, they'll set cameras on you. They have panels, like 3 people questioning you, and they look at psychology and all of that. And when I finish with them, do you know that I give kudos to DSS. They are very professional. In my life, I saw professionalism in the Nigerian police for the first time. When I finished, the man said, "Come, you're a good man. Carry 5,000. Then fuel was still 100 something. Say, take, go and buy fuel for your car and go." Hi. I said, "What about bail?" He said, "No, go. When we need you, we'll call you." No bail, nothing. I told them, this man, look, he has dealt with me. What? He has the money. He should leave me alone. I'm a writer. And what I am saying is my life story. It may cut across him because our path crossed.
Yes.
There's nothing I can do about that. So if I write and I mention your name indirectly or indirectly, if you say that I'm lying, prove me wrong. And now, some days ago, on the 3rd of this month, I got another letter. Now it's FID inviting me again. From all indication, I've done my findings. It's still Dr. Paul, allegedly now because of...
But why is it that it is difficult for them to let this slide? Is it that... You honestly, if at this point I would have to advise you to be careful for your own life.
Yeah, you know, let me shock you.
Because just like you said earlier, you mentioned about 5 pastors who've left the church and now they are no longer alive.
They are no longer alive.
So you need to be very, very careful.
Just died recently.
This is crazy.
You know when I saw the petition, I felt so bad.
So what exactly do they want you to do? Is it that you should stop
talking about anything?
You should stop talking about anything about your experience as a pastor under him.
Under him, and I must talk. It's my life. It's my experience. If you feel I am lying, do you know? And I'm saying this, and Dr. Paul, no, I don't hate you. The daughter, the brother that have children, have a child now. There was a time when she was having an issue with her dad, and she had access to me. She called me, confided in me. Oh, you know how right now I'm going through tough times. She wanted to sell her camera, not sell her things because they grounded her. And if I were to, I subtly discouraged her. I didn't help her to get a buyer because she couldn't go out of the house, and she needed. And
she didn't have access to money.
And because I was close to her and the father and the mother, I could enter, I could collect, I could sell, I could give her the money. But I discouraged her subtly. I would have exploited her. I would have taken advantage of her. And that's one thing people don't understand. Good people are the ones that suffer. One time in this headquarters here, when we went for settlement, the Oguche that worked with civil defense, we were joking and talking. And Oguche was there. Paul, there's another Paul that is in head of the school. Oguche brought out a pistol. what I preach to a joke, say, oh boy, see, it will say another person. I'm like, oh boy, but one thing about me, I have a clear conscience. There's one guy that used to write petition against me, like Maker, he's late. One general they were using to train me that, and I have never, I don't pray. I have a conscience. I just told you about my value. I read them for you. So I don't, if I'm going out, I don't go out. I know if the only thing I know is we all die. But,
someday.
So if I stay in my house, I can die. When I was in prison, I saw people in prison that did nothing. Yes. So you can go to prison for doing nothing.
Exactly.
So if I am going to suffer for a cause that will transform humanity, so be it. So when the guy showed me the God, I wrote about it, and they pleaded I should let it slide because he was not licensed. Civil defense is not even licensed to carry a pistol. So what am I trying to say? We have seen threat. When I mean threat, but humanity first. Humanity.
I'm feeling cold.
Humanity.
I'm feeling cold.
So when I left Christianity, because no, for me.
But don't you think that you're reacting out of anger, leaving Christianity, don't you think it's because of how much you've been provoked by just a few, pastors?
Pastors, okay.
Don't you think it would have been better to leave, to judge pastors individually? Because I'm sure, of course, that there are good pastors. Okay. I'm sure that leaving Christianity as a whole, instead of leaving some pastors who wronged you, would have been a wiser decision to make.
Now, let me tell you this now. I'm a very subjective. Very, very. Those that have been very close to me, one thing, I don't play with intelligence. I don't play with subjectivity. I believe to scrutinize. I told people my loyalties end. So when I left all of that, I started journeying. There's this internal journeying. And the scrutiny continued. Like, okay, God is my father, and I'm his child. I have children. I relate. Our relationship is not because they earn what I give to them. They deserve it because I'm their father. I brought them to this life. God is my father. I've seen the life of Jesus Christ. I've seen the teachings of the early church. But it's two different words. People have to pray. People have to fast. People have to call on God. Christians suffer more. But they still hold on to the word of God. And when I saw all of that, I've read about Jesus. I don't play when it comes to Jesus. At one point, I got a Bible for 50,000. If I show you my Bible, the way I mark, I forgot. If not, I didn't drive. I would have brought it. If you see the way I mark New Testament, I was eating. I don't read to preach. I was looking for something. At the end, I saw more questions, no answer. I came out with a conclusion. Humanity created God. Now it's a tough one. It's a tough one that people may not understand. Because this all happened seamlessly, like almost the same time. People think I was angry. So because of the anger, like you just mentioned. No. To be honest with you, if I see Dr. Paul now, I'll hug him. I sleep like a baby. When I went to prison, as I was coming out, I look fresh. I'm not joking. I had no money in prison, but I look fresh. I'll be snoring, they'll be praying and disturbing me. I said, can you let me be? When they were carrying me to prison, I was sleeping in the car. I'm that kind of person. Rest. That's the kind of person I am. So what am I trying to say? I noticed human created God. The poor were giving God so that they won't kill the rich. The poor were giving God so that they won't subject the rich. Because when you understand that you have God, and God is big, you have a reward up there, and the reward is not compared to here, oppression is easier.
So what you're saying is that the idea, the concept of God
was created by man.
Was a creation, a divine creation of the rich.
Yeah, to control the poor.
To keep the poor and loyal.
The poor were already loyal with religion. The day the poor begin to understand who they are, not even having money, just know who you are, they will rebel. I'm talking, and it cut across all religion. And people don't understand. There's a difference between culture and religion. Hinduism is a culture, not a religion. But the West had to label it. There's something about vocabulary. They had to label it religion to control. If you want to kill a dog, give it a bad name. For instance, I'm a Nigerian. We have our culture. Culture is your root. It is not a religion.
It's a tradition.
Thank you. We are not doing it because there is a God somewhere that is watching, and we are doing this because in the days of our great-grandfather, they had to use stone to signify their great warrior. For instance, one of them that maybe went to war, or maybe a wild animal came and he defeated, they have to engraft it in such a way.
Prayed to their forefathers.
These are people that helped us. They saved us when the enemy came. So it is not a God per se. It's royalty. Love for your ancestors that helped them. It's your root.
But don't you think that, for me, my own personal belief is that I don't like religion.
Yeah.
Of course, it's very, very treacherous.
Absolutely.
But I believe that religion misinterpreted the concept of God. Religion misinterpreted who God is, how God operates. But I believe that there is a supernatural being. And the supernatural being for me is not just an entity sitting down somewhere, like a big man sitting down, above the skies, and his long legs are on the earth. All right, that is not what I see as God. I see, when I talk about God, what I call God, or what I refer to as God, is the source of life. All right. And when I talk about the source of life, I agree that God is everywhere, because wherever there is life, there should be God, since he is the source of life. All right. So that is my own concept.
Well, let me chip in. You see, like me, I don't believe in believe. I don't believe in believe. I'm a factual human being. So when I hear people say believe, I have respect for you.
No, I understand. I've actually written about it. That knowledge is superior to belief. Belief happens when you're not sure, when you don't know something. So, but you don't have to believe what you know.
Absolutely.
All right. Absolutely. So, belief is the absence of knowledge. But me, I simply think that there must be a source of life.
Now, let me tell you something again. Science, assume. The assumption with subjectivity and with knowledge, progressive knowledge. For instance, I am here. I am seeing that there. I say that's a lion. Now, I am going closer to be sure. Are you sure it's a lion? Are you sure it's a lion? Are you sure it's a lion? And I get there. I'm now right. It's form of theory first, but now after the theory now becomes a reality. And I don't know, it's not a lion. Look at the features of a lion. Look at the feature of a lion. What I saw, I thought as a lion. It's not a lion. So it's a progressive assumption. But when it comes to belief, it's a static assumption. So you when you say
there's no room
to progress,
to even to criticize the faith, to be able to find
you are locked.
What is superior to what you believe now.
So you are just locked. And that's why I struggle when people, with great respect to Christians and everybody, I was in that system for years. But I struggle because as a humanist, I now begin to see life from a different view. For instance, Elon Musk, with great respect, I love him. He's planning to go to the Mars. I did a content on him. And right now, he said in the next 30 years, if care is not taken, his dream is to become a trillionaire, so that he can send humanity to Mars. Now Mars is the fourth planet from the sun, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And now, just like you enter plane to US, you now enter starship to Mars. Now we are planning to go to heaven.
We will become interplanetary beings.
Beautiful. Now imagine a child born in a Mars. They've settled, they've lived there, and he's telling who created this Mars, and he's saying God created this Mars. I want you to just picture now.
But the Mars was colonized by Elon Musk.
Elon Musk created life there. Now you now see that, and now. So what am I trying to say? Most times, what I prefer to say, I don't know yet, because when I say I don't know yet, it gives room for growth. But when I said there should or there is, I am almost sure, and the responsibility now is on me to prove. So when Christians talk about Jesus, and I love Jesus, as I was coming, I was to write. If you saw me, I was under the shade, I wanted to write something, and I was laughing because it was comical and also serious. What was I thinking to write? People think they celebrate Jesus, and I said, how will Jesus be celebrated that he died and rose again? I think a lot. He died and rose again. No, he shouldn't be celebrated. If he died and did not rise, that is when he's the real hero. Because look at how life works. If I'm your friend, and you have a brother, and you have great wealth, and you told the brother, before you assess my wealth, I have a package for you. That you have to go to school, graduate. On the day of your graduation, you assess this wealth. What you are doing for your brother is not for your good, but for his good. And it will put him in a position where he can train himself and discipline himself to attain that level to assess it. Now, when God said he has to kill Jesus for my sin to be forgiven, and Jesus now died and did not rise again, and he rose again to a higher glory. If that opportunity was given to me, I will also accept to die and rise again. No,
so it was not really a sacrifice,
bro.
Because he still came back.
He came back with a higher glory.
And anybody could have accepted to do the same thing.
I will accept. If God give me the opportunity, I want to die and rise again. It will become a commando. So the story wasn't.
So sacrifice becomes a real thing when you lose something.
Beautiful and permanent. Our soldiers.
Sacrifice is to give up something. not to deposit and receive.
And receive double. It's a game. It's a game. It's a game. If you look at the Nigerian soldiers, the soldiers, they go to battle, die. They sacrifice. They're not coming back. They're gone. They
sacrifice their life.
They are the real hero. They are the real Jesus. So, but we I feel pain when people talk about these things. And while I was evolving as a humanist, if I could, because I deleted my account because of what I told you. But initially I was seeing Jesus as one of the greatest humanists. I'm not lying. I was seeing him as one of the greatest humanists. But as I was evolving, I was subjecting him. He wasn't. It's a tale, a story. And remember a story of a woman that came to him and told him, help my daughter. And he said he doesn't give holy things to dog. You remember that? It can't come from a humanist. Because a humanist is driven by empathy, not sympathy. You don't classify. Humanity is one. Humanity is one. Either in Europe, in Russia, in anywhere in the world. Our color is our uniqueness, but we are one. If somebody need kidney and mine matches, I will donate. A white man, a black man. The language and all of that is for synergy, it's for beauty. And I did a content about humanity. And I said humanity thrives in synergy and complementation, not competition.
But don't you think that what Jesus meant in that verse is not giving something to someone that will not value it or does not know the value? It's like you now. Most of what you know, your knowledge. There are people you could be having this discussion with. They don't understand you. They don't know what you're saying. To them, you're saying nonsense.
Absolutely.
All right. And then imagine you every day waking up to talk to such people. You know that they are not open-minded enough to even listen to what you're saying, to process the knowledge. So, for me, I think this is what Jesus was talking about.
Okay.
Because there's no need. Giving what belongs to humans, to pigs, to dogs. Dogs will not see the value of it.
Yeah. Now, but you have a point. But if you are to see him from the angle of God in man, I'm seeing God in man now. So I'm subjecting him as God on earth. I'm not subjecting him from your point of view. And that's why I said subjection. We are criticizing him now, not as a man God. That's what the Bible said. So if a man God, he knows that the woman needs it because the doctor was in dear need of healing. Now, there was another time they told him about a building that collapsed and killed people. And he told them, if you don't repent, you will likewise perish. So when you see, as a humanist, in 2018 I was robbed. I was robbed 2018 around February. Then I was still a pastor. I left Dunamis around August or so. In December of that same month, I was robbed. Do you know? I went to preach. The one of February, I went to preach in church. And it was at the tail end of the preaching. I told them, do you know how brother left my house this morning? And I blessed those people. That is, I don't have capacity to curse them. Most time people act based on what they know. And that is why, if you remember what I told you as my license, driving license, I judge motive more than actions. So when I see people calling somebody a bad person, I don't retrieve. Why did this person do what the person did? So should I react and learn to be proactive? So for me, if you look at the concept of the Bible, if, for instance, sir, you are my brother, our kidney, our lungs, our intestine, external, and organ, all of them came with us. If God exists and the Bible is the word of God, it should come with us naturally like a manual. It shouldn't depend on some individuals to be the custodian and keep dropping them in trickles.
I actually agree with you in regards to this Bible of a thing, because I mean, for me, God, who is so wise, so so powerful, is omnipresent, omniscience, omnipotent, and all of that. He should have seen, if the Bible truly came from him, he should have seen that a book can be corrupted by man. And he doesn't make it easier for those he wishes to save to understand even the Bible. The Bible is now a book that is full of contradictions. It's full of different interpretations. This one says it means this one says, so no one really knows the right way. It seems that everyone is now confused. We're a whole bunch of confusion.
And that's why recently I saw Abel and the Catholic Church people.
So if God is so wise, which I believe for me he is.
Yes, I love that.
He should write whatever it is you want to write across the sky.
Do you know?
Where no one will be able to have access to it. You wake up, you look up, you see what God is saying.
And you know that's what God is saying.
You know that it is. And it should not be subjected to interpretation. Because man's interpretation can be flawed.
Because it's just, for instance, you told me to interpret to you, and I don't like you, and I will do it in my way.
And this same thing that pastors are now using very treacherous interpretations to extort money from the gullible ones.